Hello, this is Ali with the Perception Trainers, author of the Perception Diet, and today I want to talk to you about why your overgiving is not helping anybody. Alright, so this video I am making for you because I know that you are a lovely, empathetic, genuine, feeling everybody else's empathic stuff human being, and you genuinely feel the pain of the people around you, and you feel the pain of the world, and you see the potential in people, and you see the potential we have for joy, and it breaks your heart that people are hurting. And you are a lovely person, and you just want to see this world be a better place. And I know that, and I see that, and I just want to validate that in you. I know that that's why you're here. And so the reason that I'm making this video for you is because I know you and I know what you do, and I know what kind of people like you have been doing forever and ever and ever. And it's time that we as a collective kind of step out of this mentality of overgiving and burning ourselves out and compromising ourselves and bending over backwards for other people and all of this in the name of believing we're working towards a better world by sacrificing ourselves, okay? And we need to do this because it's not working and it's not going to work, and it did work. It moved us to where we are now. There are no mistakes. But from this point forward, I'm making this video for you because I want to help offer you a little bit of freedom and a little bit of wiggle room and a little bit of space on your path, because this next phase that we are stepping into as light workers on the planet, which you are if you're watching these videos, you are a light worker. Don't question it. You don't have to question it. If you're attracted to any of this work, it's because you are this person. The reason, like the next phase that we're stepping into is we're stepping out of suffering. We're stepping out of darkness, we're stepping out of martyrdom, we're stepping out of carrying the weight of the world. And we are stepping out of that because it's time to be in the new paradigm. It's time to be in the new paradigm of joy and the new paradigm of vitality and the new paradigm of just really living our truths, which are not heavy and are not burdensome and are not self-sacrificing, okay? And and there's some just very pervasive mindsets in the spiritual community, especially with empathic people, that we need to work through together and support each other in working through together so that we can get to this other side. Because the thing is, vibrationally speaking, when you are sacrificing yourself and you are not allowing yourself to be fortified, and when you are bending over backwards for other people, when you're trying to make this world a better place for other people by sacrificing yourself, we need to understand that vibrationally speaking, that doesn't make any sense, okay? And that that only works from a duality mindset, right? That only works from the mindset of if I have less, someone else is going to have more, because there's only this much. And right, if I sacrifice, someone else is going to get something better, and therefore I'm doing something for somebody. I'm making this world a better place, right? And this is kind of the mindset that most light workers have had for a long, long time, is that I'm going to sacrifice myself. I'm not going to get my needs met. I'm not going to say what I want. I'm not going to stand in who I am. I'm not going to, get my needs met, because I just really want to see everyone else get their needs met. And we have this idea that those two things are mutually exclusive. And most light workers especially have this sense that if you were to really be yourself, and you were to be your bold, true, authentic, expressive, this is who I am and this is what I need self, that you'd be pissing everyone around you off, that you'd be inconveniencing people, that then you're not going to be able to do all the things that you do for everybody else all the time, and they're going to suffer for it, and you don't want to do that because you don't want to see someone in pain, or you don't want to go through the process of letting somebody down. And I get that, okay? And I have complete compassion for you on that. I know that that's a heavy burden to bear, and that doesn't feel good. All right? So I want to start this video with an analogy of a tree. Okay? So if we look at a tree in the forest, like say it's like a big oak tree, a big pear tree. Let's say it's a pear tree, okay? And so this pear tree is out in the woods, right? And it's in the forest. So its root system is down deep in the earth, and its branches are big and tall. And this pear tree, in the ecosystem of the forest, provides food, right? It provides leaves and fruit. So animals are going to eat the leaves, and animals are going to eat the fruit. This tree provides shelter, right? So many bugs, many bacteria, many animals, little animals, are going to live inside that tree, right? This tree provides oxygen to the air. It literally absorbs carbon dioxide and it produces oxygen. It purifies the air, right? The tree purifies the groundwater. The tree has so many functions and so many things that it gives and that it offers to the forest, right? And that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. That tree just naturally does that, right? Now let's pretend that the tree says, okay, in order to keep doing what I'm doing, in order to produce more fruit, in order to produce more oxygen, in order to grow more branches so I can be bigger for more animals to live inside of me, I'm just going to spend a little bit less time sucking up nourishment from the soil and sucking up sunlight from the sun. I'm going to spend less time doing that so that I can spend more time growing fruit, growing leaves, growing branches, and purifying the air, right? I'm going to start to take less of what I need so that I can spend more time producing more, being more. Okay. Imagine what would happen to that tree if it did that. If it slowly started to cut itself off from its life force energies. If it started to cut itself off from the sun, started to cut itself off from the earth, what's going to happen to that tree? Is it going to be a more productive tree? Is it going to be able to produce more fruit and more oxygen? No. You know what's going to happen. If that tree decides it's going to spend less time nourishing and nurturing itself, and so that it can be of more service to others, that tree is eventually going to wither and it is going to die, right? And when that happens, it can provide no fruit, it can provide no oxygen, it can provide no shelter, it can provide nothing. It's dead, right? And this might seem like a completely obvious thing, like obviously, in the forest, the more the tree nurtures itself, right? The more soil, the more nutrients the tree sucks up, the deeper that tree sends its roots, the higher the tree sends its leaves, the more sunlight, the more nutrients that it absorbs, the stronger and better it's going to be, right? The stronger, bigger, better, more fruit, it's going to have to offer. If it cuts itself off from its life force, the less it's going to have to offer. This is what happens, because this is the truth, right? This is unity thinking. So nature understands unity. Nature doesn't cut itself off from its life force in order to provide more or be of service more, right? Nature constantly strives to get its needs met, to get its own needs met. You will see tree roots will literally uproot in sewage, like up through people's toilets in order to get water if that's what it needs to do. Sunflowers will actually turn their head in order to face the sun because it's completely focused on getting its needs met, right? And as the tree or the plant or whatever outside of us focuses purely on getting its own needs met, it in turn naturally provides all this for us, right? It naturally produces fruit, it naturally is shelter, it naturally purifies the air. So long as it's getting its needs met, that other stuff happens naturally. And I want you to consider that this is true for you too. That when you are allowing yourself to get your needs met, when you are being honest with yourself about what you need to actually fortify yourself. So again, not self-sabotaging behaviors, right? If you've got self-sabotaging stuff, like I need to drink every night, or I need to do this, or I need to do this to fill myself back up, that's probably because you're burning yourself out and you have some false beliefs about yourself, right? So again, you want to really look at that and be present with that. Be present with yourself and your behaviors. Be present with yourself and what you're doing. And you can tell if something is actually fortifying for you or if something is just like pressing the feel better button now, but it's actually self-sabotaging, because fortifying activities, you don't have to pay it back later. There is no backlash to a fortifying activity. There is no recovery time from a fortifying activity, right? You don't have to recover from your weekend retreat in the woods where you let yourself write in your journal all week, right? You don't have to recover from that. There's not going to be a backlash that's a fortifying activity. However, you are going to have to recover from having a couple of drinks every night, right? That's a self-sabotaging behavior. Even though it feels good in the moment, it's not actually fortifying, okay? So what I'm saying is, when you sacrifice your getting your needs met, your needs for rest, your needs for nutrition, your needs for communication, your needs for alone time, your needs for being seen, heard, and validated, your needs for fun, your needs for relaxation, your needs for magic, whatever you need, right? And again, you are an individual person. No one can tell you that it's silly to need to spend time with like your tarot cards every day and to get a message from the universe. No one can tell you that it's silly to need alone time to meditate. No one can tell you that it's not a real need. Because if you need it, it is a need. So that's the first thing. Give yourself permission to need what you need to feel fortified. Give yourself permission to need what you need to feel fortified. And I want to tell you this, just because hopefully it will validate you. I need to spend time literally feeling like I'm channeling and like I'm receiving messages from goddesses and ascended masters and angels, and I need that to feel nourished and fortified in my life. And if I go too many days without spending time doing that, I feel zonked, right? And so I used to think like this is silly, and like there are a million people on the planet who would think that this is absolutely nothing. I'm not actually getting anything. Like this is not a need. This is not a need. This is not food, air, water, shelter. You see what I'm saying? But for me, it is a need. And I need that stuff in my life to feel good. And so I do it, right? And when I sacrifice that stuff for other things or other people, I become crabby. I become resentful. I do things for other people, but not from a genuine place of love out of my heart. I'm doing it because I'm looking for it to like make me feel better about myself. And so this is the kind of thing this is the second kind of thing about it, right? Is that when you're the light worker who's doing all of this self-sacrificing, it actually taints what you're doing. And not in a way that you should feel bad about yourself, like, oh, I've been like doing my acts of service, but it comes with a price, and now I should feel like shit because I'm doing that. It's more like when you're not fortifying yourself and you're not filled up and giving from the overflow of your cup, right? When you're trying to give from an empty cup or a cup that just has a little bit in it, it's not totally fortified, you're going to become resentful. You're going to become angry. You're going to get burnt out and not be able to give. And it's going to cloud your judgment, and it's going to cloud what you give, because it's going to be coming from this place of like, if I just give, maybe they will validate me back. If I just, sacrifice enough, maybe the universe will bless me. If I just do these things enough, maybe someone will see me or someone will blah, blah. And so then there's this like weird energy to your giving, and there's this weird energy to your light work, and there's this odd, you're trying to get something from it, right? And that doesn't feel good for the person that's receiving from you, and that doesn't feel good for you. And the second thing is, when you're doing that, oftentimes all that you're really doing by not allowing yourself to get your needs met and bending over backwards so that you don't disappoint other people is you're enabling other people to stay in self-destructive behaviors because you don't want to make them uncomfortable by pulling out and making them meet their own need, right? Like, you don't want to make someone else have to look at themselves, so you're constantly like organizing the environment around them so that they don't have to be upset or they don't have to be uncomfortable or whatever, and you think that you're helping them, but really you're not. You're sabotaging their personal growth by engineering a situation where you are drained so that they can have their self-destructive behavior. And again, this is something I want you to look at. And like, why are you doing what you're doing? Like, why are you burning yourself out? Why are you not nourishing yourself? Why are you not giving yourself what you need? And like I say, it almost always comes down to, you think the validation has to come from somewhere outside, right? You're not willing to say, I'm good enough and I'm going to validate myself and I'm going to give myself what I need because I'm already good enough. You're saying, I'm going to do all this stuff because hopefully one day I hope it will earn me the status of being good enough, right? You're doing it because you don't want to make someone else uncomfortable, when really, if you doing what you need to do for yourself makes someone else uncomfortable, that means that's a personal growth path that they need to go on, right? They need to learn how to be, they need to go through that. It shouldn't be dependent on you for someone else to feel good. You shouldn't have to do things for other people in order for them to feel okay. That's not how this works, right? And if that is your dynamic, it's going to be a really good thing for you to pull out and to start to realize that you can disappoint people and get your own needs met, and see what that does, right? Where that leads. And again, if it's self-destructive, you'll know because there's going to be a blowback, right? And then third, it's because you're afraid it's going to make you a selfish person. And I'm going to tell you, I promise you, just like the tree, when you're nourished and you're fortified and you are getting your needs met, you are naturally the person that gives the way that you want to give. You are naturally the person that lives the way that you want to live. You are naturally the person that serves the uplifting of this planet by being uplifted. Okay? You being down in the mud and having an empty cup and trying to give from that empty cup in a way of trying to receive isn't helping anybody. You filling up is going to give you clarity on who you are. It's going to give you clarity on what you actually need to fortify yourself. It's going to give you clarity on your self-destructive behaviors and how to get out of that. And then you are going to have such potency in your light work. Okay? It's going to make your light work stronger. It's going to make everything that you do so much more impactful, so much more meaningful, so much more powerful. And you're going to allow the people that need to go on a journey where you stop coddling them to go on that journey. And that's what's best for everybody. And I understand that it's painful in the beginning, but you got to let that happen because it's important. Okay? So don't be the tree that decides it's going to stop taking in nourishment so that it can feed other people more. It's just going to make you die. That's duality consciousness, and we're moving out of that. Unity consciousness says you cut yourself off, you cut everyone off. You fill yourself up, you fill everyone up. You will give more potent light work in 5 minutes being a filled up person than you would in 5 hours being an empty cup person. I promise you. So figure out your shit. What actually fortifies you and what's self-destructive. Go through that process and then start to get your needs met. Let people get disappointed. Go through that. And then see that you become the person you were always trying to be in a way that is sustainable and is joyful for you, because you deserve joy and you deserve peace and you deserve to enjoy this path. It's not about self-sacrifice, okay? So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, follow, share, do all that fun stuff. Join us Patreon. Links are down below. We have meetings 3 times a month. Find me on Facebook, Perception Trainers, Instagram, Ali_Perception Trainers, and I will see you in the next video.